I'm sure when you think biggest television events around, you think about the 1 billion people who watched India versus Pakistan in the 2015 World Cup of Cricket. Right?
No, I can't say that I do.
Moon landing? 530 million worldwide?
No, I think of the biggest television event ever, the big game.
Piddly 115 million. Hey there, sports fans! Trace and Emily here for D News to talk about sports ball and science.
You probably know today is the Superb Owl.
We can't actually say the real thing.
Number LI, American football's greatest event. And with all those people in one place, you bet your deflated Brady ball there's a ton of science going on.
Stadiums are one of the few times a large number of people gather into a controlled space. So while most of them are focused on the field, we can use this rare mass gathering to do some cool study.
For example, on January 8, 2011, earthquake monitoring equipment registered something strange in the Seattle area. A tiny earthquake. Seriously, very small.
According to researchers at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, 8 Seattle Seahawks games registered on their nearby seismometer during the study. It's across the street from the stadium, makes sense. Their short write-up published in Seismological Research Letters detailed how they spotted it.
The equipment was so sensitive, a write-up on the PNSN's website said they, of course, could detect the rumbling of all the fans, but they could also detect cars coming and going, and use the data to tell if the team was losing. After a few losses, the less raucous crowd rumbled a lot less. Though in 2013, the researchers registered a 1 to 2 magnitude rumble emanating from the stadium. The team was on the rebound.
This wasn't the first time sports caused one of these little rumbles. At Louisiana State, there was a 15 to 20 minute long seismometer trigger in 1988. It was widely reported in the media and has become known as the Earthquake game.
And these two stadiums have a couple things in common. They hold a lot of people.
LSU had 79,431 and the Seahawks had 68,387, an average of 74,000 humans.
Right. So back to the Superb Owl. Using marketing stats on who watches the big game, we can estimate the average weight of, say, 74,000 fans. A little more than the Houston Stadium, where the LI is going down.
Like 13.5 million pounds of human jumping up and down. Maybe more.
Seismographs can actually detect incredibly small movements in the Earth. These human quakes, while fun for the media to report on, weren't actual earthquakes because they weren't inside the Earth's crust. They only imparted force onto the crust.
The thing is, people aren't just jumping. They're also shouting and breathing and talking, and that's a lot of people with a lot of air moving in and out. On average, we breathe a little over 2 cups of air at a time, about 500 milliliters. This is called the tidal volume, meaning in a stadium with 74,000 people, they're collectively sucking in 9,774 gallons, or 37,000 liters of air at any given moment.
That's 105 pounds of air, just by breathing normally. Technically a bit less because, fun fact, humid air weighs less than dry air.
Actually, riffing on that, human breath is hot.
Yeah, about 94 degrees Fahrenheit.
And it's completely saturated with water.
Yeah, it's 100% humidity in there.
So, if you took 37,000 liters of hot, humid air, that would contain about 1.5 liters of water.
Gross. Humid water.
In fact, an informal study done at Louisiana State University compared readings inside and outside their stadium during a game and found humidity spikes from all those breathing meat bags.
But look, this is the Superb Owl. If they're in that stadium, they're probably also shouting. The current Guinness record holder for the loudest stadium is the Kansas City Chiefs. In September 2014, they shouted at 142.2 decibels, louder than a jet flying over.
That's really loud. And while a lot of people argue over who is louder, it's not actually a great measure of power. The further you get from sound, the lower the relative intensity will be.
For example, a person on the opposite end of a football field from someone hearing 142 decibels would only hear 113 decibels, a lot less. One is a jet taking off, and the other is just a regular old rock concert.
In the end, masses of humanity can do something to affect the world around us if we stick together, or we just breathe a lot.
No matter the American sport, we gotta have a ref, ump, or someone who gets all uppity and is usually wrong. Are all refs bad, or what? Find out here.
Who are you rooting for in the Superb Owl? Barn, Screech, Northern White-Faced, Southern White-Faced, Hedwig? Tell us in the comments. That Superb Owl thing just kills me. And thanks for watching D News.